Psycholinguistics. We will briefly discuss the introduction to the course. Psycholinguistics is the study of how individuals comprehend, produce, and acquire language. Broadly, psycholinguistics is the study of language in relation to mind. The study looks at how people comprehend, understand, and produce as well as acquire language. Psycholinguists are also interested at looking at the social rules that basically govern the process of language, as well as the comprehension processes of language that affect its eventual production and expression. Psycholinguistics as a separate branch of study emerged in the late 1950s and 1960s as a result of Chomskyan revolution. Later on, initially Chomsky proposed this idea of innateness, and that is how the study of psycholinguistics study in relation with human mind emerged as a separate discipline, as a separate field from 1950s and 1960s onwards. Origin of the term. The term psycholinguistics was coined in 1936 by Jacob Robert Cantor in his book An Objective of Psychology Grammar. Frequently used in 1946 due to his students Nicholas Henry's contribution in the article in the process of or in the form of article named as Language and Psycholinguistics, a Review. Psycholinguistics has further sub-disciplines. The first one is theoretical psycholinguistics. It refers to language theories related to human mental processes in using language, and that takes into account phonological, diction, syntax, discourse, which is written or spoken communication, and intonation arrangements, that is raising and lowering of your voice according to what you are talking about, what you're speaking. Second is developmental psycholinguistics. This is the process of language acquisition, both the first language acquisition as well as the second language acquisition. The third is social psycholinguistics. Now this refers to the social aspect of language, that language is a string of thoughts and insights, that how the surroundings affect the production of a language, and what are the social aspects and factors that influence one's language production. Another is educational psycholinguistics. That refers to the role of language in the teaching of reading or language proficiency. So the educational psycholinguistics looks at the language in the academia in terms of teaching of reading and in terms of looking at the language proficiency. Neuropsycholinguistics is the relation between language and brain, and this is the most important aspect of psycholinguistics. We will discuss this aspect in detail in the due course. Now this deals with what happens to language input and how output is programmed and formed inside the brain. The second last is the experimental psycholinguistics. That deals with the act and effect of using language. So basically the acts and its effects. Last but not the least is the applied psycholinguistics. This deals with the application of all above subfields into other subjects. So applied psycholinguistics has experimental aspect, neuro aspect, educational aspect, social aspect, developmental, as well as the theoretical psycholinguistics aspect, which are taken into consideration as far as the applied psycholinguistics aspect is concerned. To conclude, psycholinguistics encompasses different aspects of language. We can see that it takes into account syntax, it takes into account semantic aspect as well as the phonological aspect of the language. And not only that, this is the linguistic aspect, but how these linguistic aspects are acquired, so acquisition aspect, as well as how the understanding of psycholinguistics enable us to develop our understanding of human brain, the processes that takes place in the human brain as far as the language is concerned.